have different parameters within those situations. And parenting, among other things, is one of those things that everybody has a fucking opinion on. Everybody has a fucking opinion. Let me tell you that after going to school for 12 plus years in the field of human development and wellness, I went to school to fucking parent. I went to school to figure out how to do this shit. And let me tell you, it still is hard. It still is going to trigger you. It still is something that you're going to have to negotiate within yourself and with your children every fucking day. The balance of work and, for us, homeschool or public school whenever he feels like it. Giving him more autonomy at the age of 8 than most kids do. Giving him the respect to have the conversation with him about these things rather than just demand he... Yeah. Cooperative parenting is... It takes a lot. It takes a lot of humility. It humbles me every fucking day, right? Because I am not always right. And many of us grew up with parents who were always right. And it's really hard to break that cycle when you want to just say, because I fucking said so, right? Do it because I'm the boss. Do it because I'm the parent. But really, it doesn't give him any information. And the truth is that the more times I take the time to negotiate, to talk with him, to communicate the things with him, tell him the reason why, and help him understand what the purpose of the boundary is and all those kinds of things, the expectations, then he understands it better. And it's much, much easier for him to cooperate, right, when he can, or negotiate when he doesn't want to cooperate. I give him the space to negotiate with me. And we're working on boundaries, right, as we're going to be doing for the rest of his life. Not really, for the rest of his childhood. I swear, I just upgraded my plan to go for more channels, but apparently it's not letting me do that today. So I'm sorry, Kick and Twitch, you are back off the roster. Anyway. Leb, I like that. I'm always right when I admit I'm wrong. I'm always right when I admit I'm wrong. The problem is that, like, it's really difficult when we feel that feeling of justification. Right? We might even know we're wrong. We might even know we're behaving in a way that's not appropriate or is not, conducive to a good situation or a good outcome, right? But when do we take responsibility for that? I feel like a lot of us grew up with adults in our lives that never took responsibility for their mistakes, their behavior, their words, right? And so it feels like a radical thing to at least be honest with him. None of us are going to be perfect. None of us are perfect people. Humans are fallible. Humans make mistakes. We're all going to fuck up. Sometimes we're going to fuck up so bad, right? But it's not about whether or not we fuck up. It's about what we do afterwards. It's about how we take care of the situation after. How do we take responsibility? How do we move forward with it? We can't just say, I'm sorry, and do the same shit over and over again, right? That's not growth, that's not change, and that doesn't build trust. That actually breaks trust. If somebody says, hey, sorry about that, and then does the same thing over and over, like, you're really not sorry about that, unless there's at least an attempt to change the behavior, or at least an attempt to change the outcome there. And most people, I shouldn't say most people, I know that there are many times where we do not take responsibility for those things, and we blame others for the situation, or, I just feel justified. I said those nasty things because I was mad, so what? Okay. But nothing's going to change unless we start taking responsibility for ourselves, for our choices, for our actions, for our words, and for the way that we treat each other. The way that we treat each other, including our children, especially our children, because they are watching. They are absorbing all of that, and it becomes who they are. Feeling justified, right, Leb? Feeling justified is that sign. Usually for me, it's that sign when I'm out of alignment is because I'm feeling so justified. Is because I'm feeling like I want to dig my heels in deeper, right? That feeling of frustration where you're going to almost pull your hair out. Like that level is not present in the moment. That is usually triggered. That is usually reactive past stuff that we're bringing into the present moment. Okay, my friends. I didn't come on this morning to talk about parenting, but hey. Right? That's the flow of things. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. So I apologize. It's a little bit dark in here for TikTok. I've got the other screens and they seem bright enough. TikTok is just not very bright today. So yeah, don't put your hair out. Actually, I'm thinking about shaving it for my 40th. My 40th is coming up on September 9th, so I'm thinking about shaving it off completely because it's another decade. Stuff tough. Doing the mudra, feeling like Buddha doing the mudra. We will do our mudra at the end of our session today. Remember, guys, this is tiny yoga. Welcome to class. Let me turn the incense on. Turn the incense on? Yeah, sure, why not? All right, my friends, if you would like to join, if you would like to join me for a 30-minute gentle flow for everybody in every space, all you need to do is find a place to put your butt. Oh, that's a really cute kitten. All right. It can be the edge of your bed, clearly, or the edge of your seat, or your office chair, or let me see if my angle is okay over here. You guys good on TikTok? Okay. Find the edge of your seat, and we will snuggle down for practice. No, we don't snuggle down, pirates, for chair yoga. I need to settle into my practice. So go ahead and find the edge of your seat. Plant your feet on the ground. It's okay if you're wearing shoes. You can be barefoot. Doesn't matter where you are as long as you've got the edge of your feet, edge of your seat, and a place to put your feet. Bring your knees to shoulder width apart and stack the knees directly over the ankles. What time are we at? 10:06. All right. All right. Share the live with anybody you think could work some kinks out, is seeming a little stuck, a little rigid, a little stiff. Send them an invite to some chair yoga. Work out those kinks. All right. Let's take 3 deep breaths to fully arrive here for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Really big, deep breath. And exhale. Inhale once more, lifting the heart and elongating through the top of the head, elongating the spine through the top of the head. And exhale to melt the shoulder blades down the back. Release tension in the neck, in the jaw, in the shoulders, in the legs. Let the tension melt away. Seal the lips and take a few moments to allow the breath to settle into a comfortable rhythm. We're not trying to control the breath here, except for just be present with it and take those intentional inhales and exhales. Just be present with your body, with your mind, with your breath. Notice where any tension remains in your system. Take these few moments to settle in and let everything else fall away. Your to-do list is not important right now. The appointments you have will be there when class is done. The errands will be there when class is done. You can take these few minutes to let all of that fall away, knowing that you can pick it back up after class. We're going to slowly move into our flow, beginning with some neck rolls. Just take your time here. Go at your own pace. Roll the head side to side. Drop the ear towards the shoulders. Maybe roll it around your neck. I invite you to follow your own intuition here. Just getting into the neck muscles. We're not trying to pop the neck. I know for some of us that's impossible not to. It's all snap, crackle, pop up there. But just take your time. Warming into the muscles. Saying hello to your edges. Gazing over each shoulder, tipping the chin up and down. Just get familiar with where your neck is at right now. And pause anywhere that needs an extra moment. This is your practice, your space. Your body, your breath, your inner landscape. Return the head back to neutral, and you can keep your eyes closed as we go through this, or you can open them at any point. Go ahead and begin with some shoulder rolls, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears, and then rolling them back and down with the exhale. Inhaling them forward and up, exhale back and down. A couple more rotations, one way. And switch directions, inhaling the shoulders back and up, exhaling forward and down. There's no rush here. Just take your time. Be present with your experience. Go ahead and return to neutral. If it is available to you, extend your arms out full length both sides. If you do not have the full length of extension, you can also bend your arms, bend your elbows, and put your hands on your shoulders. We're going to do little circles either with the elbows or with the arms out, with the arms extended. Either way, isolate the shoulders themselves. We're not moving from the hands, the rotation comes from the shoulders. Allow the elbows or the arms or the extended arms to stay in line as best as possible with those shoulders. One direction and then the other. Do your best to isolate this movement here. Release the arms, placing the hands, palms down on the knees as we move into a couple cat-cows. Excuse me, cat-cows. I shouldn't cover my mouth when I'm speaking. Inhale, lifting the chin, sending the chest forward, and tipping the tailbone, almost as if you're going to wag your little tail. Inhale. And exhale, curving the spine, tucking the chin, pulling in the tailbone for a nice full cat extension. Hi, dog. Inhale forward, lifting the chin, setting the chest forward, tucking the tailbone out toward the back. Inhale and exhale, curve the spine, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. A couple more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. A couple more. Really focus on that full extension of the spine. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Come back to neutral and we'll move into a couple torso rotations. Torso circles, just move your entire torso in one direction. See if you can get a full movement in the entire spine. Move those hips, move that rib cage, get the shoulders involved. Everything in the torso. One direction and then the other. Hello, dog. Hey, sir. Sit down if you're going to sit down. If you're going to chill, sit down. You can't go outside. I'm not putting you out there. Okay, couple rotations in the other direction. Dog, wait. and return to neutral. Go ahead and extend the arms out in front of you, palms down. And we're going to extend the fingers nice and wide, opening the hands nice and wide, and then lift the palms facing forward, keeping those fingers nice and wide. And then dip them down, bringing the palms in. So we're going to keep the fingers nice and open, nice and wide, and we're going to lift the palms out, palms in, palms out, palms in. Back and forth a couple times, warming up the wrists, noticing where there's any tension, where the movement is jumpy. Bring the hands back to neutral, palms down, and just do a couple of fist clenches. Opening the hands, full extension, clenching the fists. Opening the hands, clenching the fists. If this is too difficult on the arms or the shoulders, you can rest your hands in your lap and do the open and close, open and close, open and close. Go ahead and release the arms. Extend the right leg. We're just going to do a couple of point flexes. So extend the right leg out in front of you, long spine. You can just rest your hands on your thighs. You can put them on your seat. You can put them on your hips. Point the toe, flex the toe. Point the toe, flex the toe. Keep a nice long spine and reach for that full extension. Full point, full flex. Full point, full flex. Point, flex. Point, flex. Go ahead and slide the foot back to a 90-degree angle so your knee is stacked over your ankle. Extend that left leg, same thing. Point, flex, point, flex. Really stretching the ankle and the muscles and the tendons in the foot. Point, flex, point, flex. Point, flex. Go ahead and bring the foot back to, again, shoulder width apart, legs, thighs shoulder width apart, knees stacked over the ankles. Go ahead and keep your hands here on your hips, or bring them to your hips if they're not already. Again, if you need to just brace yourself on your chair instead, that works too. So we're going to do a little bit of a flow. We're going to lift the knee up, tight into the chest. Point the toe, keep the spine nice and long, lift through the top of the head, hold here at the chest, deep breath in, exhale, flex the foot and extend out in front of you without support or with support if you need it. Deep breath in, exhale, one more, inhale, exhale, inhale, go ahead and point the foot and bring the knee back up to the chest. Couple of breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Nice long spine. Inhale. Exhale to slowly release the foot. Slide that right foot out in front of you. Heel to the floor. Flex the foot. Deep breath in. Long spine. And exhale to slowly fold forward. You can keep your hands at your hips or you can reach for your toe. Let the head hang in a half Hanumanasana, half forward fold, half forward splits. Couple breaths here. Sinking into that extension in the back of the leg. Inhale to slowly roll up. And bring the knee back up to 90 degrees. All right, other side. Keeping your hands on your hips or balancing, offering support with your chair. Inhale the knee up, tight to the chest, nice long spine. Couple of breaths. Inhale once more. And extend the leg, flexing the foot, extending the leg. Couple of breaths here. Nice long spine. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the knee back up to the chest without releasing the foot. Couple more breaths here with the knee tucked as tight as you can to the chest. Keep a nice long spine. Focus on using your abdomen muscles here to hold this knee up, not the back, not the hips. Isolate the core. Exhale. Release the foot back to the floor. Slide it out. Flex the foot for a half splits. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold, leaving your hands on your knees or reaching down your extended leg. Relax the head, relax the shoulders, and just rest in your forward fold here for a few breaths. Inhale to slowly roll up. Slide the knee back to a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to drop the knees to either side. Windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Back and forth. Windshield wiper the knees. Come back to neutral, and we're going to do a slightly different version here. So we're going to do the same thing this time. Keeping your hands on your hips, or if you want to go a little bit deeper, extend those arms up above your head and keep them out above your head the entire time for this practice. If you don't have the space, I barely have the space, again, you can also drop the hands behind you and extend through the elbows. Just make sure you bring that intentional extension as if you're reaching up, whether with your fingers or with your elbows. I don't have a lot of space, so my elbows are where it's going today. Go ahead and inhale that knee up. Exhale, hold. Nice long spine, using the core to hold the knee. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Flex the foot and extend out in front of you. Again, using the core here. A couple of breaths. Long spine. Inhale. Bend the knee. Bring it back up to the chest. And as you exhale, see if you can place that knee, that ankle over your knee. So your right ankle over your left knee. Flex that foot once it's there. If you can't do it without support, please offer yourself some support. So now we're in a seated pigeon. Take a deep breath in. And exhale to forward fold. You can just fold into your pigeon, or you can release the arms down to the floor and fold deeper. Whatever works for you today, I invite you to rest into your pigeon pose. Feel that opening in the right hip. Relax the muscles in the low back. Breathe into any spaces where there's tension. Keep that top foot flexed. Keep your right foot flexed. It will help protect your knee. Inhale to slowly roll up. I wasn't very slow, but go ahead and release the knee with or without support. Whatever's up for you. Whatever works for you. All right, we're going to go for the other side. Again, hands on the hips. If you want to support yourself with holding onto your chair, feel free to do so. Or extend the arms all the way, or just through the elbows if you don't have the space. Go ahead and long through the spine, lift through the top of the head. Inhale that left knee up. Point the toe. Couple of breaths, using the core, focusing on the core to hold the knee up. Couple of breaths. Inhale. Exhale, flex the foot and extend the left leg. Again, using the core, focusing on the core to keep this leg extended. Long spine, lifting through the top of the head. Take a few breaths here. Inhale to lift the knee, again pointing, and exhale to place that left ankle over the right knee. Flex the left foot, flex your top foot, and allow the left knee to drop open. Again, going into your forward fold now, either resting your elbows on your knee, resting your chest on your knee, just staying way up here because it's too tight, that's okay, or dipping down between into the open space here into a nice forward fold. Relax into your pigeon. Take a few breaths. Allow that knee to fall open, opening in the left hip and low back. Remember to keep that left foot flexed. Left foot flexed. Inhale, slowly roll up. Go ahead and release the knee with support or without. I like to be really kind to my knees, so feel free to be really gentle with your knees. Bring the feet back down to the ground. Bring your knees, stack your knees over your ankles. Bring the thighs to a shoulder width apart. Interlace your fingers at your heart and send your palms up towards the ceiling for a palm tree sway. We're going to sway to one side, a left side stretch, or the right side, doesn't matter. You go ahead and do whatever side is available to you. Remember to gaze up past your armpit to get a nice little extra bit of that stretch, stretching in the entire side body. Inhale back up. Exhale back down to the other side. Turning the head to gaze past the armpit. Hopefully you're not offending yourself. Take a few breaths here. Nice long stretch in the side body. Inhale back up to center. And as you exhale, turn the torso to the right side. Drop your right arm behind you. Left arm on the outside of your right knee. Take a deep breath here. And exhale to sink deeper into the twist, gazing over that back shoulder. Keep your knees shoulder width apart. Check if you need to. Keep your knees shoulder width apart. Wringing out the spine. Take a few breaths here. Focusing on keeping the spine nice and long. One more deep breath in. Exhale to slowly, slowly, slowly release. No slingshotting back, okay? Interlace the fingers. Send them back up for palm tree, at least for the hands. Take a deep breath in. And exhale to turn the torso to the left. Once you find your edge, open the arms, bringing the left hand behind you. Right hand to the outside of your left knee. Deep breath here. Exhale, deeper into the twist, gazing over the back shoulder. Check with your knees if you need to. Make sure they're still shoulder width apart. We're just getting the twist in the spine here. Wringing it out like a long towel. Deep breaths, long spine. Deep breath in. And exhale, slowly returning to neutral. Go ahead and windshield wiper your knees again. Give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. Find a couple more small movements as we find again the edge of our seat, and we will settle in for the closing of our practice. So we always close our practice with a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of meditation. We're going to do two pieces today. We're going to bring our mudra in for the week. Our mudra is the Shukri Mudra or the Samanavayu Mudra. Same mudra, two different terms. And we're going to use the, So here is the mudra. This is it. That's why I keep doing this towards the camera. This is the mudra. You just gather all four fingers to touch the pad of your thumb. And just do that however it's available to you. Just try to get all four fingers touching the pad of your thumb. And then relax the fingers. So you want to do this without creating tension. We're not squeezing our fingers together. We want to relax the thumb, relax the muscles in the hand so that this doesn't create tension in the hand. If you have tension in your mudra, it's going to be harder to hold it for a longer period of time. And we want to hold them for at least 5 minutes. So what time is it? Yeah. We're going to do about a 5-minute practice here, and then we will close. So this mudra can be held anywhere. Again, it's the Shukri Mudra or the Samana Vayu Mudra. So this mudra balances all 5 elements in the body. It boosts immunity. Rejuvenates the organs and blood, calms, brings peace, peaceful state of mind, cultivate a peaceful state of mind. The Samana Vayu, the term Samana Vayu, the other name for this mudra, refers to the movement of energy in the body that comes from the periphery of the body into the center. So we're going to do a practice of visualization with that. If you can't visualize, don't worry. This is not something that you have to see pretty images in your head. It's just the intention and your attention, right? Your intention and your attention are the 2 most important parts of your practice. So grab your mudra, gather your fingers. Hey, Byron, come sit with us for 5 minutes for meditation. Gather your fingers to touch your thumb. And then rest this mudra anywhere you want to, anywhere that feels comfortable, any position you've got. If you just want to hold it with one hand, you can totally do that too. If you want to lay down and do this practice, you can do that too. Find wherever is most comfortable for you. And then close your eyes. Let's take those 3 deep breaths again to settle in for meditation. Inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions. You notice a little more space in there. Exhale. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating through the top of the head. Lifting through the top of the head. And sigh it out. Go ahead and seal the lips and take a moment to follow the breath. Just watch the inhale, listen to the inhale all the way to the top, and watch the exhale, listen to the exhale all the way to the bottom. Allow the breath to sink you deeper into this space. Occasionally check with your body, check with your mudra, make sure you're not generating tension. Sometimes when our attention is on the breath, the body generates tension. If you notice tension, just release that tension with each exhale. Give it permission to go. We're just settling into this space. If your mind is busy or thinking about all the things you've got to do, I encourage you to just gently return your attention to the breath. Without any argument, without any story, connecting to the thoughts, connecting to emotions or sensations. Just be present with the breath and anything else that arises. You can stay with this part of the practice as long as you would like. If you would like to add some pranayama, I encourage you to just gently restrict the muscles of the throat to create a slight snoring sound or a gentle ocean sound in the throat. See how loud you can make it without actually making the snore sound. Find the edge of this sound before it starts to go. Find your loudest ujjayi. Feel the tension created in the throat by this gentle restriction of the muscles, by this pranayama practice. Feel the tension on the inhale and the exhale in the throat, the force being created there. The way the breath has to push through the narrowed pathway. Whether you're a visual person or not, I invite you at this point to set the intention to follow the breath this time. Follow the breath on the inhale as if the breath is coming from all sides of the body, the external area of the body, maybe even the energy body, just around the energy body, around the body. Inhale, pulling the breath from the periphery of the self all the way into the center, into the heart. Imagine the inhale pulling breath from every corner of the body into the heart. And with the exhale, exhale through the heart, releasing any tension, anything stuck, anything rigid, anything no longer serving you, any bullshit you are ready to let go of. Inhale, fresh, clean, clear energy, oxygen from the periphery of the self into the heart. And exhale directly through the heart, breathing out through the heart anything that no longer serves you. Inhale from the periphery, pulling the energy all the way into the heart. Keeping that Ujjayi breath. And exhale, releasing everything through the heart. When our channels are stuck, or when our channels are constricted, when we have tension in the body, this is what the energy feels like. This is what the breath feels like, trying to get through our system. So use this forceful breath now to clear these channels. Inhaling the fresh, clean energy, oxygen from the periphery of the self into the heart, pulling with it anything that no longer serves you. Imagine it just raking the Zen garden of your energy body, of your physical body, and pulling in all the tiny pebbles and stones that are ready to get the hell out of this little Zen garden. They're making too many waves. They're taking up too much space. Inhale with that Ujjayi breath, pulling the breath through the periphery, from the periphery of the self into the heart, and exhaling all the bullshit from the heart. I encourage you to continue with your practice for as long as is available to you. This is a very powerful clearing practice, balancing practice. It's going to serve your whole system, breath, body, and being. When you feel complete, I invite you to take just a moment to release the mudra, leaving your hands in your lap or wherever they were. Release the breath, release even your posture, and allow yourself to sit in this space for just a few seconds. The pause, like the pause between the inhale and the exhale, we rarely notice. Yet that pause is imperative. Resting the breath in between each inhale and each exhale. In this moment, rest the body, rest the being. When you're ready, I invite you to bring your hands to prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart and offer a gentle smile to your heart in gratitude for the work that it does, in gratitude for the transmutation that it offers us, in gratitude for its ability to clear our system, fortify our system, Offer yourself some gratitude, of course, for taking the time for self-care today. I'm so fucking proud of you for making it to class. Look at you. And thank you so much for joining me and helping me cultivate this CAYA space where we can learn and grow and ultimately thrive together. I love you so much. When you are ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself wiggles and stretches. Only opening your eyes when you're certain that this is the reality that you intended to come back to. If not, immediately close your eyes back up and go back to traveling and find the proper dimension. Find the proper dimension. Hey guys. Thanks, Laura. I love the poke. Hello, my friend. Hello, guys. I love all the comments during class. I'm glad you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me for class. Remember, replays are on YouTube. Move with Change. I am at Move with Change on all the places you hang out, but YouTube is where I post the replays. I am live on YouTube and TikTok pretty much every time I go live. So, thank you for the gifts, friend. Thank you. I'm also live on Instagram right now, and I was going to go live on other places too, but the replay is on YouTube. Do me a favor and follow me on the places you want to see me live. If I can go live, if I've got enough followers, I will go live. But the replay, in case you missed the entire flow, it is a 30-minute flow, so you can go find it on YouTube. At least go follow me. Remember, if you are in the Discord, I post the flow itself, each pose, in a cute little playable app that you can do the flow at your own pace. So instead of having to listen to me yap about the flow, you can do the flow at your own pace. So that is available if you're in the Discord. How do you follow me on Instagram? I am Move with Change. MOVEWITHCHANGE. I am Move with Change on all the platforms. There is no other Move with Change that I have seen, which is really cool. So I Move with Change. Also, if you go to the link in my bio, it's a link tree. The link tree has my links to the Discord space, which is a free space that you can join. We have a growing community of over 150 people. We're almost 200 now. I think we're getting there. Of folks doing the exploration, right? On the journey home to self. Interested in exploring the kinds of tools that bring us a greater sense of autonomy, a deeper sense of truth and value. There's a lot of places, especially on social media, out in this world, where you can go find yourself a guru. You can go find yourself somebody who will tell you that they have all the answers for you. This is not that space. In this space, we encourage you to find your guru. Because even if you have someone teaching you these things, for example, meditation, and you're sitting with your guru, and your guru tells you to focus on the tip of your nose, right? Who has to do that in the middle of meditation? That's you. Your guru can't do that for you. And the term guru really just means that which leads us from darkness to light. So who is it that actually is doing the work? You are your guru. You are the first guru. Maybe not the first guru, right? But the end all be all guru. You are the first guru. Okay, I was wrong there. You may not be your first guru, but you will be your last. So, in this space, right? Lab, you never heard that? Yeah, it's just the guru. Darkness, light. That which leads you from darkness to light. That's all. The thing that leads you through the illumination process. Vlad, you've heard someone say guru means G, you are you. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, again, you know, these, like, you guys know, if you hang around in here much, I love words, right? And I love the etymology, learning about the core, where words come from and what they mean, and why we use them, and being aware of when we use them. And we're so afraid of ego, right, Leb? We're so afraid of ego that we turn away from our own wisdom in hopes that we won't be egotistical, and we go search for somebody else's wisdom, right? The other person has all the answers for me. As long as I just bow to their truth. I don't know. It all just feels backwards lately, right? It all just feels like the carrot leads you immediately away from the truth of self. Poke poke, hey, thank you. This is a gift from a friend of mine. He just came and brought some jerseys back from the Bay Area. But ego isn't the bad guy. Ego isn't the bad guy. and sometimes I think that we actually even gaslight each other by saying, "Oh, that's clearly your ego," right? Or you're being egotistical. Or we put each other down and we judge each other for being in a state of ego. But ego is an aspect of self. Ego is an important aspect of self. Ego is an aspect of self that was developed so that the self could operate in this world with the limited tools that the self had. Can you imagine that from your earliest years, someone comes into your life to take care of you, to protect you, to do their best, to make sure your needs get met? And then at some point on your journey of growing older, of evolving, right? Then you turn to that person and you go, you know what? Fuck you. You've been keeping me safe this whole fucking time, but you've been doing it all wrong. No, I'm gonna fire you completely. You don't have a job at all. Yeah, in my opinion, Eleb, ego is the awareness of the individualized self. As the self individuates, the ego becomes manifest. It is built, it is created based on what the interaction, right? The intersection point between my needs and the external world. And maybe there's a point on the journey, right, where kind of like we do as parents, well, and not as parents, but as children to our parents, that at some point we turn away from everything our parents were, taught us, what have you. And we don't all do it, but sometimes it's this extreme push in the opposite direction. And so maybe that's kind of part of the ego thing too, is becoming an enemy of the ego, or the ego becoming an enemy, and then learning to make friends again. Because again, I can't fall in love with someone, right, unless I've not been in love with them first. I can't build a friendship if we are already friends. It's almost as if the paradox is that we need the darkness to understand the light. Or to come into the light, we must fall into the darkness. To lift ourselves up again, we must fall from grace. To become right? To come out of the illusion, we have to be disillusioned. We have to be illusioned first. I tattooed the word paradox on my belly many years ago because these things frustrated me. Duality at its finest. These things used to frustrate the fuck out of me. And I felt like I wasn't going to be able to find the answers. I'm like, this doesn't work. It's not supposed to be like and or, right? It's not, it's either or, not and. But it is in the subtle layers and subtle exploration of duality that we find unity. Powwow, I'm sorry, my friend. What's going on? Our mudra for the day is an all system balancing and energizing mudra. So this one here, it calms the mind, it boosts immunity, it balances all 5 elements of the body. Powwow. You just bring your thumb to touch all 4 fingers as best you can. Relax the muscles so that you're not creating like super tension in there. And just find the connection point and hold that. You can hold this anywhere, anytime. You can hold it for 5 minutes. You can hold it for 45 minutes. You can rest it in your lap. You can throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier. I don't think you could tie it in a knot. I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Feel free to share powwow too. You're just tired. You feel so tired. Ooh, friend. Because the soul has been doing heavy lifting, right? This feels like heavy lifting. Heavy lifting because we're still operating in these densities. And our systems are like, get me the fuck out of this muck and mire. Get me the fuck up out of the depth of the ocean so I don't feel the weight bearing down on me. How do I swim? But how do I swim? We float. I don't know how else to say this. I don't know how else to like communicate this. And the reason I love doing these lives is because it really helps me formulate these things and like turn them at all angles. But there's this piece that's been so big and so loud for me for so many years. I did the heavy soul lifting, right? And I felt like this work was bricks in my backpack and a huge moving mountains, right? It felt like moving mountains. But there's something underneath that. Okay, Leb, love you. There's something underneath that. There's something more than that. There's something more expansive than that. It's like, so I part of it, right, is that this is something that I am in the middle of expanding as an understanding into my world. So it's not something that I can completely put into a concise thing. But I went from trying to lift mountains within myself, trying to, like, you know, tear down concrete walls by hand inside of myself, right? You know that stuff. You said, I'm so tired doing that work and feeling like it's just so fucking heavy and so fucking dense and so fucking hard to get through it. But something happened. Something happened in these last few years that it's like that pressure, that force has been reduced. That force, it requires less and less and less force. And the message I keep hearing is the more you work for it, the more you fight for it, even the more you seek it and the more you desire it, all these things are tension. They create a tension between the self and the thing. See what I mean? It's not... Adarsh Suman, welcome, my friend. The message in my meditations has been, you are all you need. The message in my meditations has been, just let go, just let go, just let go. And of course we ask, sorry, I've got to plug in the computer here. Of course we ask, what do you mean let go? How do I let go? How do I let go of the job that I'm in, right? How do I let go of the relationship that's not serving me? How do I let go of my level of frustration when it feels so overwhelming? You know, how do I let go of these things? You know, I see, and I see because I know what it's like to be stuck underneath. It's like a spiritual ceiling or an ethereal ceiling where you're like, I can't see outside of this. I am so fucking stuck in this, right? There's no other options. As soon as you feel this feeling, you know that you're not operating on fully present energy. You know that it is being influenced by other stuff. Other stuff keeping our minds compartmentalized. Other stuff keeping us stuck. And I used to chase my tail inside of that. I used to run circles inside of that. And just for the last few years, the message again and again is just let go. Any moment that you can find a second to put down, hey Jesse, to put down the justification, to put down the nasty words, to put down your arms, to put down the fear, to put down the, like, I'm a visual person, I'm a storyteller, you know, so I see the things that, like, when I'm in the middle of a frustration, like between my son and I, if I'm feeling overwhelmed and boxed in by this thing, I sit there and I go, okay, what's outside of the box? What are other options? It feels radical because we're so used to feeling justified and we're so used to feeling like, oh, well, I know what I'm going to operate from that place of justification. I'm going to push that energy outward. If I feel the energy come up, I'm going to weaponize it because it's a habit. I do the same things over and over and over again in my life. And it's exhausting to drag the same bags of bullshit around in our lives again and again every day. So start unpacking. I want to be really careful because I don't want to come from this place of of arrogance, right? Like I know the answer, because I don't. I'm in the middle of it because I'm still practicing this and figuring it out. It's why I can't articulate it perfectly. And I don't want to come across as it's just that easy, because it's not that easy. Because the first few times you move a mountain, it's fucking hard. The first few times you pull yourself off a Velcro wall when you're in one of those bodysuits, you know, those TV shows that they throw somebody against a wall in a Velcro bodysuit and you got to try to get off the wall. That shit is hard. It's not easy. And to turn and tell somebody, hey, it's easy, just stop, just get out of it, is arrogant, is not compassionate. Right? Because I know what it's like to feel completely stuck, and I know what it's like to feel like there's blinders and a ceiling, and you're absolutely boxed in. But I want to remind you that even in those moments, there's always something else. There's always some option. There's always some sort of, like, even if it's just singing a song to yourself at random, right? You're feeling stuck like this, fuck it. Sing the every little cell in my body is happy, every little cell in my body is well, every little cell in my body is happy, every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. And then return to the problem. And then look at it with fresh eyes. Feeling stuck? Go run around the yard like you're a little kid with a new pair of shoes. And then, now come back to the problem. Do you know that if you go crawling, it bridges the gap, it fortifies the bridge between the left and right hemispheres? So go crawl around. You're feeling frustrated, feeling stuck? Go crawl around your fucking house. Do the radical things. Do the radical things. Because those are where I personally have found the most magic, the most flexibility, the most freedom, the most insight. Laughter is the best medicine. Why? Because it creates space, it bubbles, it moves energy. It changes our frequency. Laughter yoga is a legit thing that you sit there and you just start laughing at nothing for no reason. Why? Because it starts to build real laughter within you. And I know you guys who've been around for a while, right? You've heard me say that in my deepest moments of meditation, in my deepest moments of mindfulness, I swear the universe is laughing. Like the whole fucking time. Like I'm pretty sure the ebb and the flow, the frequency, the waves of the entire universe is all just laughter. Brian, not a new mudra. Today's mudra is today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of this mudra, right? Next Monday we will get a new mudra. We get a new mudra every Monday. Or Sunday. I think sometimes I post it on Sunday. This is the mudra. It's called the Shukri Mudra or the Samana Vayu Mudra. This mudra works to balance all 5 elements in the body. It boosts immunity. It rejuvenates the organs and the blood. It brings it on a peaceful state of mind. Samana Vayu is specifically the motion of energy from the periphery into the center. My brain is just processing. Sorry. So on Monday, we did a meditation with this where we breathed, we imagined the energy coming in to the belly button, right? Nourishing the digestive system, nourishing our center for nourishment, pulling all energy into the umbilical cord. Today, we used the same sort of energy, pulling it in from the periphery. This time, we pulled it into the heart. Our heart is our transmutation station. You can drop anything in the heart, and the heart can breathe through that and turn it into love. Turn it into something higher vibe, right? Higher vibration frequency kind of stuff. So that's what we did today. We sat with it. We did our yoga flow. We did our tiny yoga flow, Brian. Did you join us for chair yoga? No? Replays are on YouTube. It's a 30-minute gentle flow for everybody in every space. And we always end, or sometimes we begin, with a little practice. This is the Shukri or Samana Vayu Mudra. This one can be held anywhere, anytime. Remember that on Monday, we do like a 5-minute practice. On Tuesday, we do, or on Wednesday, we do like maybe 10-minute practice, 5 to 10 minutes. On Friday, we do chair yoga plus our mudra and a little bit of meditation. And then on Saturdays, we do the Big Kahuna meditation. And on Saturday, we're going to do a really cool Shavasana meditation. So it's going to be a laying down meditation, a total relaxation meditation. If you want to end up taking an afternoon nap, come join me tomorrow. We're going to mix some yoga nidra in with the mudra. Jessie. Yes, my birthday is September 9th. Jessie's guessing. Was I born in January or September? I'm so not a Capricorn. So not an Aquarius, unfortunately. Love you. It's been a rocky ship. Verify to continue? Oh, what did I do to offend you guys, trolls? Hey, Wyatt, what's shaking? Yes, my birthday is September 9th, 9/9, and I'm going to be 40 this year. I'm thinking about shaving my head for it. Just because, you know, fresh restart, and plus I haven't seen the tattoo on the back of my head in a long time. Liking the hair down. I was laughing about it today. I was like, it looks like just a regular old cut now. Go ahead, let your hair down. So our mudra, Samana Vayu. Om Namah Shivaya, my friend. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mudras are truly one of my favorite tools. And this mudra in particular, I encourage you this week, if you haven't already, start a journal. You were just thinking about buzzing your head. Christina, you want to join me? I'm going to do it on the 9th on my birthday. I'm going to do it on my birthday. I was born at 11:27 p.m. or 11:57 p.m. My mother said one thing, the birth certificate said another. I don't know who to trust. Probably the birth certificate. 11:27. 11:27 p.m. My mother used to always make me wait for my birthday for like a special slice of birthday cake or a special gift or something up late at 11:27, which I, of course, thought was the coolest thing because I got to stay up late. So I might wait until 11:27 to shave my head. We'll see. It's been a while since I've gone completely clean head. So with this mudra, you can actually use this mudra as a bit of a diagnostic, which is why I was suggesting this week to keep a journal with this mudra and hold this mudra for several times a day, at least 5 minutes, several times a day. Because in doing so, you're going to notice different energies move through different fingers. Remember that mudras work by redirecting the energy channels in the body, and each finger carries a different energy for the body, right? So the thumbs are fire, pointer, air, middle, spirit or ether, ring, earth, pinky, water. Guys, there is a mama and a kitty cat nursing behind me. Can you hear how loud she is purring? Okay, so today at 12:30, by the way, I have to pause at 12:30 to help my son get set up for something. It's loud, right, Wyatt? You can hear that? They're so cute. They're so cute. Do you guys want some kittens? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of the, not get rid of the kittens, but I cannot. I cannot pay for vet bills for 5 cats. So if anybody needs some kittens, or wants to help me pay for vet bills, that'd be great. I'm in Oregon, so if you are in Oregon and would like a Maine Coon kitten, that's what we have. We have 3 kittens that were, this is Mama, she's a black Bombay kitty, and then Dad is a Maine Coon, which you guys have probably seen videos of. He's chatty, he's friendly, he's big, he's... Let me see it.
It's all lovely right now.
Oh, yeah.
Not its head. It would love that just like its dad. Mama, this is about the I can't find one of Zindex in my stuffies. It's my
Okay, that's not... Bro, check yourself, please. You know the boundaries, and you're finding ways to tiptoe around the boundaries, and I don't appreciate it. Okay. Now they're attacking Mom. I can't get enough of them. I woke up the other morning with all of them in my bed. 3 kittens, Mom, Dad, and the dog, all in this small bed here. Of course, it was the most adorable thing in the world, so I didn't move. Thank you, Kelsey. Fuck it. I'm just going to leave you guys here with kittens. You want me to zoom in for you? Yeah, Leb, the hazelnut. You'd be able to you'd be down to make a trip to Oregon to adopt one? Yeah. These are, again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Maine Coons. I was not familiar with Maine Coons until we had a kitten show up in our yard that looked like a bobcat. I was like, what the fuck is this? Do I have to go, like, call the local wildlife whoever to come get this kitten? And then I looked it up. I was like, no, it's not a bobcat. I think it might be a Maine Coon. Sure enough. And he is now, he's only a year old, and he's already pretty long. Maine Coon and Bombay. The black kitty here is a Bombay. She's a little bit slender. She's got not as much of like the round black cat face, but more of like a, yeah, they get very big. And Maine Coons, I guess, still grow for the first 5 years, right? And they're very, very chatty. And the thing is, too, is one of these kittens is already, like, I think he might need a home of his own. I'm sure he'd like other cats, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be a boy, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a Tom. Kelsey, I am in Oregon right now. And yes, this is our camper. We do various, I travel and homeschool my son. And so, depending on what year it is, we'll be in different states, and we will either be living in a RV or in another situation. We are actually house sitting here, but they are selling the house. So we are moving back into the RV and inquiring about our next gig. There is one in the rings, in the rafters. That's right. There's one in the rafters right now. Ooh, you're homeschooling your daughter this year. How old is she? Thank you, Lindy. Which one? This one? My rat? I am always looking for other homeschool kids. She's 13. My son is 8, but prefers older kids to younger ones, right? Is that still true?
Yeah.
Okay. Does she play Minecraft? Your son is 11? If you got a kid who plays Minecraft, I'm begging you, please. Can we can we hook up the kids? I know you say or Roblox, but I am not a fan of you guys in the public servers with Roblox. Maybe if you're with other kids, but I don't know. No, but your son does. Yes! Sweet. I found an 11-year-old that plays Roblox. I mean, Minecraft. Your son does too? He's 13? Fuck yeah! Let's get a little thing together, huh? Come join the Discord, y'all. So, remember that if you want to get deeper into this information or interact with me more or our community more, right? Come join our Discord. So we have a Discord space that is completely free to join, and it's a little more private than the public social media stuff, right? The link is in my bio. It's in my link tree. So you can get that way there that way, or you can send me a message and ask me for the link directly. If you come into the Discord, yeah, it's called the CAYA community, and it is searchable, but I haven't had I've had people tell me they couldn't find it. But look at the link, yeah, there's a free link in my bio, or you can just send me a message if you don't want to go searching for links, and I'm happy to share the link with you. It's free in there, and then we can easily hook up the kids, right, through that. Your kids do Roblox that you gave up on that flight. I know, Kelsey, it's the thing, he's 8, right? So he's just starting to, like, text with other kids in there, and, like, oh, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. Ugh. I didn't, yeah. So come join the Discord. Plus, I also post a bunch of extras in the Discord. Especially when they're young. Yeah. I don't want to be so restrictive that he becomes dishonest with me, right? We can't be so restrictive that he becomes dishonest. Oh, Mom just left, you guys. She said, peace out, I'm done. They've got milk mustaches. Kittens. Kitten. Kitten. Thanks. Okay. All right. Kittens be kittening. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, Kelsey, too. He is pretty communicative with me about some of it, right? He's come across some stuff in Roblox or on YouTube where he's like, yeah, there's this video on YouTube that I know what they look like. They use these characters, and what they do is totally inappropriate. And I was like, what? Show me those videos so that I can report them, right? Because they're not supposed to be on YouTube, kids. If kids are finding these videos, and sure enough, my kid is like, oh, yeah, I know where they are, though, and I just won't play on them. And I was like, yeah, don't Tell me what they are. What's up, frequency? Please tell me what they are, right? So at least we have that communication, and I want to keep those lines of communication open. And the more I restrict him without communicating with him or without understanding why he, right, what his needs are in that, and I want to maintain that. Again, the more restrictive I become, right? So, hi. For those of you who are new here, my name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. And I actually went to school for 12 years plus, including certifications and things, for human development and wellness across the lifespan. I actually went to school because I knew that I needed to learn how to be a decent person so that I could be a good parent. And so I actually, by the time I had him, I had already been working on a parenting theory that I call padded wall parenting. Because when I was growing up, those walls, boundaries, were brick walls. It hurt to find the edges. It hurt to find the boundaries, right? And as soon as you touched it, it was like, bah! Don't touch my fucking boundary! Don't come anywhere near the wall! And that was really difficult for me, right? I was like, why can't you just explain to me why the boundary is there? Can you explain to me, or can we move the boundary? Because I'm now old enough to do these things, right? There was no flexibility when I was growing up. It was a brick wall that somebody else created, and I had to just abide by it, regardless of how I felt about it, regardless of whether or not I kept running into it. It doesn't matter. I had to follow it. And that was brick wall parenting, authoritative parenting. And it felt really soul crushing, right, to me as a child. But this padded wall parenting idea is that it's important to have boundaries, right? When children are very, very young, we understand the way that the development process happens, that when children are born into this world, they don't even have the capacity for their own boundaries, and they don't have the capacity to understand the world in the expansiveness of it. It's too much. A child can actually become traumatized by too much exposure to the outside world, to difference, to things, right? Without a security net, without a safety. Wellness integrated solutions. I know, more bricks, right? That was part of the whole connection with all the bricks. We understand that the impetus of the child is to grow. The nature of creation is to expand and to grow. Just like a weed, they will find the cracks in the concrete and they will grow through. Not because they're trying to hurt you or trying to manipulate you or trying to be bad kids. It's because the very nature of every ounce of their energy is trying to expand. When we as parents put walls that are too tight around the child, we're going to create tension between us and the child, between those boundaries and the child. And we are the ones setting the boundaries, and so therefore, the tension is with us. And I don't know about you, but I certainly don't like the idea of going head to head with my child all the time. I don't think this creates a trusting relationship. And those boundaries don't need to be so hard when we hit them, right? This is where we get into that communication piece. I explain to him why the boundaries are there. Yes, it takes more time, but I make sure that at every point I try to give him more information about, look, this is why the boundary's like that, right? If we're out in public, I need you to stay with me and not go running through those grocery store aisles. We live in a small town. Well, I know everybody and I feel comfortable in here, and he knows people who work there because we've gone to the same grocery store for the last several years, right? And I say, yeah, I get that, right? He explains to me why he does it. I go, I get that, and let me explain to you why it's important to me, right? We do live in a small town, but we also live right by a highway that goes right through. So, and you don't know everybody who comes and goes. There are people who come in and out of this grocery store that aren't even from town. And we're right by this road here that very easily, if someone decided to scoop you up and take you, you could be gone before I even realized where you were at. And then he goes, oh, I didn't even think about that. Of course, right? You're only 8. I can't expect you to think about that. But when I was a kid, I definitely got like, oh, you're so stupid because you didn't obviously know that this is obvious. Because to me, as an adult, it's fucking obvious. So you're an idiot child. You didn't even fucking realize. Okay. Belittling the child, right, in their own ignorance. But ignorance is where we all start from. Frequency 89, right? Who doesn't want the freedom to be free? But that's the thing. Authenticity is freedom, right? Authenticity is the freedom to truly be you and live your truth and speak your truth and be your truth. But when we are young, we are usually told in various forms that our authentic expression is too big, too loud, not in line, not what's expected, whatever, wrong, broken, stupid, dumb, childish, immature, right? We're told that all of these expressions of our authentic self need to be shut down. That's a cultural story. That's the enculturation process that gets passed down through generations, through parents, through our external culture, through our neighbors, through our school system, through our government, through this social media stuff. Like all that stuff gets pushed, and we just pass it on, and we just pass it on. What are you two doing? Hitch. Speaking of children. Hey, Kelsey. Speaking of children. It's all about respect and self-acceptance. And this is the hard part, right? Is that like when we came from, for example, I'll use my situation. I came from a space that the children did not get respect. The children had to respect the adults. That's it. There was no reciprocation of that. There was no, my parents did not apologize to me. There was no accountability. There was no conflict resolution. I never got to see resolution. It was just shit hit the fan, and then we were all expected to just sweep it under the rug. And I was like, now I don't know how to resolve things in my relationships. I don't know how to speak my truth because I was consistently shut down when I did so. And so these things influence the way I want to parent, right? I want to give him the space to be authentically him. And at the same time, create a safe container. Because if I don't create that safe container and he goes running through the grocery store aisles and walks down the highway by himself and shit, I do put him in a serious risk and a true danger. And so I have to be the adult here, the wiser ones, right? To look at the situation, the bigger picture, and say, okay, here's as wide as I can reasonably make the edges. And I'm going to let him grow and play within that space. And when he hits an edge, I'm going to say, oh, this piece is here to keep you safe because of these reasons, right? Oh, okay. And then they tend to kind of respect it. But that's only a thing until they're ready to move past it. Now, at some point, he's going to be old enough to go to the grocery store by himself or with his friends, to walk around town with his friends. At that point, I need to be ready to push that boundary open, even if I feel a little bit nervous about it. My nervousness oftentimes comes from my expectation and the way that I see him in my head. A lot of times as parents, we see our children as younger and more immature than they actually are. Sometimes the opposite, but a lot of times we're like, I'm not ready. I want you to be a baby still. I just want to keep the boundaries and then close. This will create tension. Yeah, Gigi, how many bricks are we all carrying around from those walls that we had to try to tear down, right? As children and inside of ourselves. We now have to learn to put down and not pass it on to our kids, or at least do our best to try and do better. Every generation seeks to heal, right? Seeks to expand further and further and further and further open. What's that poem? What's that poem from Khalil Gibran? On children. The parent is the bow and the child is the arrow, and it is the parent's responsibility to bend so that they may propel their child forward, because time does not move in this direction. Time does not move in backwards. Time moves in the forwards direction towards the children. So if anything, instead of wishing that our children are in our image, we should be humble enough to hope to be in theirs. And that's profound. We should be humble enough and wise enough to recognize that life moves in a growth direction, an expansion direction. Our children are going to expand beyond us. And for them to do that, we cannot hold them within the boundaries that we were held, or even that we hold ourselves sometimes. Or we think we should, right? Create that space. Create that space. And every time your child pokes that boundary, be willing to be flexible. Some boundaries, it's called On Children by Khalil Gibran. I think it's KAHLILGIBRAN. Maybe. Again, I go back to the simple physics of it, the Fibonacci sequence. Everything in the universe is doing that expansion, that opening. When we limit our children's ability to do that, we start to actually create trauma in the body. Trauma is created by these moments of tension that inform the system about how to interact with the world. So if I am repeatedly told that my attempts to do things by myself, climb up on a stool, climb up on a chair, get a fork and knife by myself, pour my own cup, right? All of these things, these are attempts to satisfy my solar plexus energy, my attempts to build my sense of self-esteem and my sense of autonomy. When I'm young, if those attempts at autonomy are thwarted, my system gets the message that the external world I think we're safe. My system gets the message that the external world is not safe. It's not safe for me to express autonomy in the external world. Not like that. Right? Thank you, guys. And so we start to shut down our solar plexus. We move that energy. We take that energy from our solar plexus and we pull it up to the heart. Or we pull it down into the lower chakras. Or we pull it all the way up into the throat or the third eye. Energy never dies. And your system has an energy source, is an energy source. It's fueled by an infinite source, the infinite source of prana that's everywhere around this universe, in the whole universe. And that manifests from your heart, your finite field of toroidal, your toroidal field of energy. And as we grow, that energy adjusts, our energy body adjusts based on the information, the exchange of information between the internal and external world. Without any emotion, without any blame, without any pointing fingers, the system is seeking to expand. As parents, we can shepherd that expansion. And I believe it's our responsibility to shepherd that expansion in a way that allows our children to fully express the divinity within them. If you want to see God in its full expression in the Matrix, watch a toddler. Watch a toddler who moves through this world as if they own it. And I often think when I see that, what a sad thing that we teach that out of them. Instead of teaching them to use that energy, to harness and purpose that energy, we tell them, no. You're being too loud. You need to calm down. Why? Because of our own shortcomings, because of our own expectations, because of our own imbalances. Again, this is not as an intention to like create blame or shame. It's not intended to make you point your fingers at yourself and feel like shit or anything like that. It's intended for us to, the only way we can pull ourselves out of ignorance is by becoming aware, right, of what we're doing and the information that's available and exploring these things together. As soon as we attach a story to it and go, oh, fuck, I didn't do it like this, well, I'm a shitty person. You've moved yourself out of the conversation about this stuff and into an energetic response, an emotional response. into a past experience. But the only thing we have is right here and right now. Yet we allow the past to influence right here and right now. How many times do you say, have you said, I've said it, or thought about your child? Oh, every time we go in the store, you just run off. Every time you have ice cream, you end up whatever. Every time this and this and this, you do this. Or we say that about our partners or about ourselves. That is a narrow box. That is a real small space we're putting each other in. And that expectation actually influences your children. There's a really amazing book called The Continuum Concept. The Continuum Concept by Jane Lidloff, I believe it is. Liedloff or something like that. The Continuum Concept. And she talks a great deal. So she's a anthropologist. She talks a great deal about these expectations, and the way that our children's systems even are designed to respond to the expectations. Think about this. When your child is very young and they go to climb up on something and you go right, or they go to step into somewhere and you go what did I just tell the child energetically? The child doesn't need to have a ton of language for it to feel that. That's a pretty clear message. That just scared me. What's the expectation behind my fear? Is that you're going to fall or you're going to get hurt. That expectation tells you that I don't trust you. I don't perceive you as someone who can do this, who can try this, who can be good at this. Like the expectation that we give our children unconsciously through those little things sometimes can influence the way that they think about themselves. Frequency. Without the troubled times, where would the wisdom come from, though? Sometimes hardships are blessings. In fact, I really... this is why I say, without the story, taking the story and the shame and the blame and all the emotions out of it, because the reality is that this is the process of becoming human. Every single human comes into this world with some minimal amount of map, right? An energy signature, let's call it, and relatively unconscious. The brain is in the theta brainwaves. That's the dream time. That's lucid dreaming, REM sleep, that kind of state of mind. The brain doesn't even come out of that until the age of like 7 or 8. So we're relatively unconscious in those early years, right? The system during that time is deciding how best to take care of you. It's not about whose fault or what was bad or what was good. Your frequency signature responds to the external reality. It is becoming familiar with the world itself. Sure, we could blame all kinds of people for the way that the world is right now, but that's not the point. That's not going to get us anywhere to our understanding as much as it is just going to put the power outside of me by blaming everybody else. Instead, I can look at it and go, wow, what a cool experience. For the first 25 or so years of my life, my system is developing based on the information exchange between the internal and external world. And based on that, my system decides how best to operate in this world, how best to protect the I, the spark of divinity, the truth that's within, the spirit, right? There is a thing worth protecting in here. And how valuable that I get to come into this life and be distilled into this meat bag that is intended, that is going to constantly try to protect me. While my mind is unconscious, my body and my energy are protecting me. How fucking cool. What a blessing. What a gift. What a gift. And when I come into my later 20s, right, at this point, my entire system is online. And it's as if I get handed the keys to my new house or the keys to a new vessel or vehicle, right? And everybody who ever came in contact with me to some degree or another helped build this vessel. My parents may have put armor on me, right? My church may have put shame on me. My friends may have put, I don't know, a fucked up compass on me. Help me misalign my compass. I don't know. It's just the nature of our experience. And here's the thing. You get to heal because you were broken. You get to come home to yourself because you left home, because you were lost. You get to find yourself because you were lost. You get to fall in love with yourself because you didn't love yourself before. You get to enlighten the self because the self was in darkness before. If I'm going to enlighten the self, I have to be in darkness to enlighten the self. If I am already all in light, then I cannot enlighten any further. And the only place for me to go, if I'm going to do any sort of experience, is to devolve back into dark again. The yin and the yang, the constant ebb and flow, light and dark, push and pull, inhale, exhale, day and night, sleep and wake, birth, born and died, right? Birth and death. The entire universe. Kim K's daddy, I am a interfaith minister. So I am not Christian, I am not Catholic, I am not Jewish, I am not Hindu, I am not any one particular dogma. Instead, I've studied many of them, right? So that I can understand the common threads within them. This is really important when we talk about the structures, like the structure of religion that was created by humans for a particular purpose, versus the understanding of the universe itself, our interaction with the universe, and that doesn't have to be found through religion. I found it through studying many religions as well as outside of religion. But it doesn't negate the existence of a higher power. And for me, the understanding of that existence really is, it is everything. The whole we are drops in the ocean, and the ocean itself is God. Or my favorite analogy of the prism, right? The prism. This is the illusion. This is the nature of reality, right? This is creation. The light itself, or the light that goes into the prism, is divinity. We know that there is one constant in the universe. Thank you to physics, science, quantum physics. There is one constant in the universe, and that's light. Time and space, even, are relative to light. So light, God, consciousness, the frequency, prana, universal life force, whatever it is, source, whatever you want to call it, it exists, and it's the only constant in this universe. When light, yes, frequency, when light goes through this illusion, this multifaceted prism here, what happens to light? It fractures into every different aspect of that white light. And it manifests every bit of creation. Even the pieces of creation we can't see. See, my eyesight is only able to see this much of the spectrum of light. And so my experience is only, the only experience available to me is that which I can perceive in this illusion. I am only one little aspect here of that rainbow that gets fractaled from that pure light. And so are you. And we'll have big swaths of every different color. But they're all important because they're all within the whole. They are all parts of the whole. This is the illusion, right? Is that we are separate when we're actually of it. It's just we are looking at it through the prism of experience, through the prism. Kim K's daddy, you are also an individualist, but the problem is you need a support system. Yes, you do need a support system. We are not isolated creatures. I'm not an individualist. A collectivist, if there's a thing. I'm not a title. I recognize that as the illusion of creation, as being part of this little matrixy prism, I know that I am just one little facet here. And you are another facet. 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 And we are all different facets. And while I may find facets here next to me who feel the same way and sound the same way and act the same way and love the same shit that I do and totally agree with all the things that I see from my facet, because we're right next to each other. But that also means, if that is true, then the facets on the other side, completely opposite of me, must also be valuable and true in their own right. Just like every color in the spectrum of the color of the rainbow is true and right and valid in its existence because it exists, because it's part of the whole. It is imperative for us to recognize the interconnectedness of the collective, the value of each and every piece. Yes, frequency, the puzzle wouldn't make sense if the pieces were all the same. They would not fit. They would look really bland. Can you imagine all the same pieces, a bunch of little squares, and it's all a gray puzzle? Why would you even do that puzzle? What's the point? The point is to experience the subtle layers of unity. To do that, we have to experience duality. To experience the fullness of duality, of reality, of oneness, we must suspend our judgment that my side and my perspective is the only truth. Or that I am the only one with answers, right? You guys know I say it a million times in here. You are your guru, because only you can make these decisions for you. Only you can do the things for you that need to happen inside. You can gain information, you can talk to other people with other facets, right? But if we don't share, if we don't value each other's perspectives, then we are not going to see the elephant in the room. This is how the current structure, the current system has been operating. It is the elephant in the room. And it's the elephant that's been standing on most of us. And we're sitting here arguing about whether an elephant has a foot or a leg or a tail or ears or tusks. We're arguing about the size and the shape and the color of the elephant, instead of just taking everyone's perspective as true and going, holy fuck, that's a massive elephant that's been stepping on all of us. But we're not going to see that unless we value each other's perspective. Unless we suspend judgment and stop belittling and tearing each other down for having different perspectives. Stop engaging in the divisive language, engaging with our assumptions and our judgments and our ignorance. If we stop weaponizing our ignorance, if we stop adhering to our ignorance as if it is truth, that's not a paradox. In my ignorance, I believe I know far more than I do. And in my knowing, I recognize how little I understand. Knowledge is power. That's why knowledge is something that has always been cultivated and kept, compartmentalized and locked away, right? Knowledge is power. Can you imagine if you knew what your system was truly capable of? Do you know that we are born with thousands more synapses in our brains than we end up with as adults? What are synapses? Synapses are the connections in the brain that create the habits, right? Teach us, or how we remember, how we learn habits, how we cultivate habits, things like how to walk, how to talk, how to breathe, how to eat, how to sleep, when to sleep, how, like all these things, the personality things that we have, the triggers and all these are created with synapses. The ones we use create connections. The ones we don't atrophy and don't create connections. Yet the child's mind has thousands more than any adult ends up with. What are those for? What can those do? What happens if you ask those questions of yourself? What happens if you take the time to explore the possibility outside of what you have been told to believe, outside of the box that you have been told to stay in? Information is power. Knowledge is power. So when there is so much information now available through the internet, through us all sharing our perspectives, what do they have to do to keep controlling that information? Flood truth with false information. Hey, April, I missed you too. Flood truth with false information. Confuse, gaslight, smoke and mirrors, right? Let's keep them as confused as possible. Keep them fighting with each other so they won't communicate and they won't share their perspectives, so they won't find out the truth. Unfortunately, this is ingrained in the enculturation process and something that starts happening to us from the moment we're born. The divisive language, the us versus them, the hierarchy, the judgment, the shame, the blame, the guilt. All of this stuff is ingrained into the culture in such a way that it is handed down to us like family heirlooms. And for many of us, these are family heirlooms. The shame, the guilt, the fighting. I am absolutely certain there's more. I am absolutely certain there's a great deal more available to us when we stop denying our truth, when we stop denying the authenticity that is meant to be expressed from us, that we stop denying each other's perspective, that we stop buying the bullshit that somebody who looks different from you is somehow less valuable than you. It's always like puts a bug in my brain. I can't understand that kind of arrogance. I can't understand that place of I was born better. But in our attempts to reach self-actualization, because the system is expanding and growing, right? The system is trying to enlighten. The system is working towards evolution, towards self-actualization. All of humanity, all of creation, right? The whole fucking planet is doing this. We are part of that expansion too. And so within ourselves, that expansion must happen for us to reach actualization. But when we have been given the message again and again and again to shut down our systems, to compartmentalize and redirect our energy, then by the time we are fully online and capable of interacting with ourselves, we are so out of balance that sometimes it feels damn near impossible. And it feels like the only other fucking way is to dig your heels deeper into your ignorance. Tosh, do I think we all have to reach it? April, can it be reached? Hey, Billy, you're just on time. Can we reach self-actualization? Yes, our systems are primed to do so. And the entire universe is supporting that. The natural state of the universe, the natural motion of the universe is creation and expansion. So the entire universe is supporting that process. The reason we struggle, the reason we deal with pain and strife and all this bullshit is because we are fighting against that very flow. It's easier to reach self-actualization than it is to stay in suffering. We have to fight to stay in suffering. Self-actualization actually leads us through a process of surrendering, through releasing attachment, releasing the push and pull fight. But again, we live in a system that says, no, we want you in the push and pull fight. Because if you're constantly pushing and pulling for basic needs, then you're not going to reach self-actualization because you don't have the energy to do so. You're just trying to feed yourself. You're just trying to clothe your kids. You're just trying to keep everybody safe. You're just trying to fucking make it to your job without your back breaking down again, right? You're just trying to make it to school to drop your kids off without your car breaking down again. Crossing your fingers, you have enough gas to fucking get groceries, right? Like, that is by design. And that is actually more difficult to stay in. Why are you suffering? Why are you dealing with these fucking, like, life is squeezing me, holy fuck, how do I get out? Is because you're not intended to be there. Because life is supporting you in getting out of there. Because it is the squeeze of the birthing canal that says, get out! Expand! Stop trying to crawl back up inside the womb and fucking hide. Unfortunately, the severity of it, right, the point that we have gotten to now is that we have to make these radical shifts. If we are going to reach self-actualization, we must make radical shifts. And Tosh, to answer you, you asked, do we all have to? And that's a twofold, I've had kind of a twofold answer. On the one hand, no, we don't all have to. There is every energy available to us. Remember that spectrum of light? When the light comes through, every color of the spectrum is manifest. Some are higher vibration than other ones, but we need all of them. For enlightenment to happen, the entire body must float. The asshole to the beautiful eyeballs, right? Every part, from the smelly armpits to the pretty feet, every part has to float. Every part must lift. The buoyancy does not come from the lift, right? Does not, maybe not come from the asshole itself. But it gets lifted with the rest of the body. So no, we don't have to turn into a collective of all perfectly love and light ascended beings. I don't think that's reasonable for the for the reality of that is the matrix, right? For the fact that there is the spectrum. We're not all going to suddenly, like, smash together and become singular again. The experience is what's available here. And if you're here for the experience. Whether that be to be an asshole that gets carried to the surface with the rest of the body, with the rest of the buoyant body, or to be the arms that are fucking treading water trying to get us up there. Snickers, to efficiently battle, you must love that which you seek to change as much as you love yourself. I love you, my friend. Acceptance, trust, at the very least, curiosity and willingness, right? To effectively, I have to change the word battle, because to battle then is the antithesis of love, right? The fight is the opposite of war. Yeah, there we go. I like semantics. I think they're important. I am not creating a battle within myself, and in fact, I am surrendering to a lot of these battles. I don't need to fight that battle at all. I don't need to pick up arms. I don't need to clench fists. I can just choose that this battle is not even for me. I'm not going to have that conversation. I'm not going to engage in that energy. I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to answer that phone call. I'm not going to respond to that kind of behavior or those kinds of words. Here's the thing, though, Snickers. Because you say you must love that which you seek to change as much as you love yourself. And the truth is that when we're on this journey, love does not always come easy. Love is often something that is elusive for us, especially as we are uncovering it within ourselves. And so I hesitate to say, to do it, to navigate effectively, you have to love these things, because there are plenty of times where I don't love what is coming up within me, or I don't love what I see and what I'm experiencing in life. So if I don't love it, does that mean I have no chance to move through it? No, not exactly. I want to simplify it and say it's curiosity and willingness that allows you to effectively navigate these waters. Because at least if something shows up curious, I can be curious about it. I don't have to love it. I don't want to hate it. But if the feeling that comes up within me when road rage comes out, right, or a nasty comment manifests in my head about somebody wearing something weird, and you know those moments, right? Your brain just said the fucking thing, and you're like, oh my God, brain. How do you meet yourself? Do you meet yourself with judgment and condemnation? Can you love yourself and be like, oh my God, I love you. You're so judgmental. Sometimes that feels a little bit of a stretch too. And I don't like to fake it. I don't really like the fake it till you make it shit. I'm like, that feels disingenuous, and I don't want to be disingenuous. I want to be honest with myself. That's how I build trust. So when that comes up, I'm going to go, interesting. Huh. I don't have to tell a story about it. I don't even have to engage any further with it. Huh. Interesting. I don't have to weaponize it. I don't have to put it away in me. I don't have to shame myself. I don't have to say shit. It's a passing fart in my brain. And if I choose not to trap it and hold it in a jar, then it will dissipate and go away. And the more I let those farts, mental farts, pass me, the more they will dissipate and the less intense they will become over time. It's the more I give it my attention and go, oh my God, did you smell that thought? I cannot believe that you would have even stunk up this fucking space with a thought like that. No, don't let anybody smell that. Don't let anybody smell that. Trap it within yourself. Shame yourself. Hide it somewhere deep inside so that it can fester. And then it will demand expression. More and more and more and more. Why? Because I have just trapped the gas inside my gut, and gas is like, bro, I'm not intended to stay in here. Thank you, friend. You have a finite system. What would happen if I ate food and then kept it in my system? It would destroy my system because my system is finite. What would happen if I inhaled and held my inhale and never let it go? It would destroy my system because my system is finite. Your emotions can be the same. They rise and they fall. They don't need a story. They don't need to be attached to. You don't need to make them part of who you are. You don't have to wear them like a fucking badge of honor. You can just let the fart pass. And Garrett says, avoiding negative emotions makes them worse. Yes, avoiding them, pushing them down, shaming yourself, blaming yourself for them, ignoring them, these absolutely do push them back down in the system. But there's a middle ground where we don't need to engage with them, where we can just see it as an inhale and an exhale and go, huh, that was a funny inhale, just like a burp, just like a belch. Huh. When you belch, do you seriously sit there and go, oh my God? I mean, maybe we do, right? I used to, oh my God, I can't believe that came out. What did that smell like? Where did it come from? Do I need to change my diet, right? We don't freak out over a little belch. Maybe we do. But we seek such perfection that we miss the process, that we thwart the process. Snickers. Calling them negative makes them worse too. Fuck. You mean there's no right or wrong? There's no good or bad? It's all just a judgment. And every one of my judgments is based on the experiences that I have had early on in life. Based on, a lot of times, the values and beliefs that were given to me when I was growing up. What is in your garden? What grows in your garden? What are you cultivating? What are you watering? Do you have weeds taking over certain parts of your garden, preventing other things from growing? Do you have beliefs that were put into your system that don't align with the truth of who you want to be or the way you really want to see the world. So weed your garden. It's your garden. You are the one stuck with you for the rest of your life. You can continue creating an enemy of yourself. You can continue creating battles within yourself, and you will fight that war your whole fucking life long. Or we can learn to put down arms. And in that way, we can begin to cultivate self-love. Frequency 89, you have a great day too. We can begin to cultivate self-love. Self-love doesn't come out of nowhere. Self-love doesn't... We have to learn to love ourselves because we forgot how. And that is a journey, right? Rami, do I believe that we live in a virtual reality? Not in the, like, video game kind of way, no. I believe that we are here for experience. I believe that we are definitely in an illusion for a purpose, for the purpose of experience and discovery. And I believe that is potentially a process that God itself created, generated, put into motion, right? Can you imagine that if you were an all-seeing, all-knowing, all-everything God that manifested into its own creation, into its own universe, and created this own universe, and created light and the stars and the people and the cosmos and all the things, right? Or all the pieces of the cosmos, all the planets and the stars and the whatnot. And then you're like, well, this is boring. This is all the things. Here's all the things, right? Here's all the things. But now I'm watching all the things, right? Doing all the things, and I want to experience those things. God has to be inside of everything for everything to be inside of God. The cells in my body are all of me and yet separate from me because they are all pieces of me, but all the pieces together make me. And you can't isolate one from the other. My system dies if you start to take it apart in pieces. It has to be together. So the purpose then of experience becomes the process of enlightenment. Because enlightening the self becomes experiencing the process of enlightening the self. Four Agreements is a great book. Hey guys, give me... Sorry. Give me just a second. Let me grab UPS. Open up your computer, please. Is that for you? Oh, it's for Marion. Yeah, can you bring it over there? Okay. Whew. It's getting hot in here, guys. Nate Garrett, the nature of reality is paradoxical. It doesn't make logical sense. It's all about emotions. Is it all about emotions? Or are emotions the intersection? Are emotions our interaction between our awareness and the illusion? Is how we process the illusion, is how we interact with the illusion. Yes, we interact with it on a perceptive level with my eyes and my ears and my senses, all of my senses. I interact with it on that level, and that informs my system. But then my interaction comes, my reactions come, where my emotions come in. But to enlighten the self is not to sink deeper and deeper into the emotional self. It is to rise above the ebb and flow of the emotional self. And logic is something that is squarely in the brain. It's a process of the brain. And the brain in of itself is a limited, just like my senses are all very limited. So of course it doesn't make logical sense because my capacity for logic is limited. And in our enlightening as a collective, we become more enlightened about the subtle layers of this illusion. And so expand my ability to perceive these things as much as possible. And the more we discover, the more sense it makes. That's the process of discovery. Wild April, getting rid of the trappings feels very scary to me. Do you mean like the trappings of the Matrix, like just the normal day-to-day material world stuff? I feel that. I've been through a long process of push and pull with the material world. And it is because we are taught to rely on the external securities. We're not taught to seek the internal securities. And so we become attached to the external representations of those things, of our security, of our love, of belonging, of confidence, right? The clothing in my closet can be my confidence. My partner can be my security. My whatever can be, right? But these are finite satisfactions for an infinite need. And we don't satisfy our need for security through finite resources because then it doesn't really offer security. So in that way, it's needing to recognize that that is the illusion and that none of these things that we are attached to outside of us are actually satisfying our system's needs. They're just doing so for now. They're just doing so for long enough for us to feel satisfied by it. And in our attachment to these things, we take up the space. In my attachment to receiving love from my partner, I seek to receive more of that love from my partner instead of cultivating it inside of me. Now, that's not always the case, right? We can absolutely be with a partner and then start doing the internal self-work. Absolutely. But I'm saying many times we are attached to the external satisfactions because those are what we're taught. Those are what we know. Those are what we've always been familiar with. The scary part is stepping out of the comfort zone and saying, I know there's something more. I know there's something outside of this. And the journey from I feel comfortable here surrounded by my material securities to the I don't need the material securities is a journey. It's a path. It's not going to happen overnight. And I'm still working through it. And I've been doing this for fucking the whole time. I don't know. So in that way, just allow. Trust that your system is enlightening on its own. Trust that the collective is enlightening. And trust that when you're ready, you will know that it is time to let go of these things. You don't have to drop them all at once. You don't have to rip a Band-Aid off and completely change your entire life in the spirit of self-actualization. And so, in fact, oftentimes that can lead you even further away because it's such an extreme swing. Balance is a centered place, not swinging from extremes to the other. Not all love and light, not all nihilism, right? Not all perfectly spiritual, not all totally material. It is a balance and intersection of all of these things, an integration of all of these things. You've always struggled with gray area. And again, this is something I want to acknowledge it and maybe give you permission to accept that our minds, the way our minds work, are structured by our early experiences and by our culture. And we live in a very dualistic culture. It says you're either good or bad. You're either going to heaven or you're not, right? You're either girl or boy. You're either, they want it, this system and the current illusion wants that duality, wants you to make the simple decisions, either yes or no. I invite you as a personal practice to start exploring that gray area, to start giving yourself permission to maybe wait a few minutes or a few days before making a decision, before before deciding something, exploring that middle ground. Say, is there an in between? It doesn't even have to, you don't even have to follow through on anything. Just do the thought process of going, is there an in between a yes and a no? Is there a situation where I can see it being somewhere in between? Is there a place that I feel like I would be comfortable in between this and that? We also, because of our culture, seek immediate satisfaction, seek very quick satisfaction. And so the gray area, the sitting in the fire part of our process, can be really harrowing, right? We're taught to be human doings, not human beings. So when we're being, it can be really difficult to be, to just be. No, I have to do something about it. No, you don't. Sometimes you don't. In fact, oftentimes the universe sorts shit out for you. This was a weird, interesting message that I received long, long, long ago, that the universe was like, stop trying to fucking manifest stuff. Stop pushing. Stop trying to change things and clear things. Stop pulling back. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop doing shit. And it seemed like every time I do something with intention, it was almost like it was immediately thwarted. Like my decision-making thing was pushing me further away from my truth and from my purpose and from my dharma, and it kept leading me on these side tracks. And I think it was part of my process for a reason, for a purpose, right? Because what it taught me was to go, let go and let God. Do I want to engage in this energy right now? Is it for me or is it not for me? Not for me? Then I'm going to let go and let God. For me? Am I going to chase it down and try to seek it and try to grab it? I'm actually going to let go and let God there too. I'm going to make the decision. This is for me. And I'm going to allow that to be in my life, allow that in my reality, because it is for me until it's not for me. And if it's not for me, I'm going to leave it right where it is until it's for me. Maybe it'll never be for me. Snickers, side quests make you stronger for the boss fight. They do. They do. Guys, this is why I'm looking for a developer to help me build an app so we can build an RPG game. That's a mindfulness RPG game that has all of the information, all of the mudras, all of the mantras, not all of them because there's 1,000,001, but a library of mudras, mantras, pranayama, yoga poses, affirmations, information about like astrology and things like that will influence your quests. Put in your birth date and we'll use your chart to influence, to talk about the energy of your avatar and use those skills within that game. And then the game also rewards you for doing your mindfulness practices. And yeah, I'm actually working on creating an app that uses cryptocurrency to reward you for doing mindfulness practices, for building a trusting relationship with yourself, for reflecting on these things. So if you know somebody who is a developer and wants to get in on this project, I am actively seeking people. I want to get this off the ground as quick as possible because I feel like it's like pressuring my brain, right? So this is the thing. Let go and let God, right? I feel the pressure in my head that says this must be created. So I am present with it and I share that information, right? I am balanced in that and say, hey guys, I'm going to speak it into creation so that I can call into, so that the people who are interested in it and can do it with me will echo back to me, right? And that's how we gather that energy. But I can say it out loud and say, okay, let go and let God. If it doesn't happen this month, I know it will happen in its own time. And when the right people show up, the right people will show up. When the finances to do it will happen, it will all fall into place. And I trust that that's going to happen because I know that over my lifetime, the more I have offered trust and acceptance and surrender to the flow and say the universe knows better than me, if it's for me, it will arrive. If it's not, it won't. And I can be okay with that because I'm ultimately an ignorant little human stuck in this little box. I cannot know or see everything. And it's a bit arrogant for me to be like, oh, I know what's for me. I know what life I want. I know what, and we can interact with that, yes. And ultimately, we can choose what life we want. It may be totally out of alignment with our systems. Kelsey, can you do the artwork for it? Oh my fucking God, yes, please. I was just looking at other, I don't know if you guys know about, is it called Modern Sam? I really want to, I don't have the finances to download this app yet. It's called Modern Sam, and it's actually for like daily tasks slash ADHD management. It is a paid app. I think there's a free version of it, but the artwork on there is super fucking cool. But it's not just, right, it's not the whole mindfulness thing. Arrow, hey, how are you? Can I repeat my intentions? Absolutely, John. I am intending to create a mindfulness RPG game that rewards you for doing all of your mindfulness stuff, as well as gives you the opportunity to learn the tools and practices within that are available within it. So it's basically a library. It's an RPG game. It's a journal. It's a wellness tracker, habit tracker. It'll have nutrition stuff and recipes and things like that. When you go and use your avatar to go eat something, you can actually access a library of recipes that are specifically aligned with your dosha and things like that. Like, oh fuck, we can pull so many pieces into this. But I need a developer to help me write the code. And I do. I need people who are willing to do the artwork with me. I need people who are willing to just sit around and like brainstorm how it's going to actually function and help me build the maps and things like that. If this is something that you're interested in, please come join me in the Discord so we can. The Sam app, the only thing I found really similar is called Modern Sam. And I really want to tap in. I'm actually in their Discord and I want to go check in with the creator and be like, hey, can I just rack your brain? Like, can I just ask you questions about it, please? Because ultimately what I want to do is I actually, Move with Change will eventually be a nonprofit. My business name right now is Move with Change, and I would like to make it a nonprofit. And under the umbrella of this nonprofit, I want to get this app created because I don't want it to be something that you guys have to pay for. Knowledge, information is power. And I believe it's a right. You have a right to have the tools that lead you to your wholeness, that lead you to self-actualization, even if the powers that be don't want you to have it. So, wait, hold on, guys. It's 2:16. I need to help my son get into this free robotics class. So give me just a few minutes and we can come back and talk about the app or talk about the Discord and things like that. I'll be right back. Okay. Ouch. Let me see really quick. I've got to look for where this thing is. So hold on just a second, guys. Thank you, Leb. Joining link. How do I fucking get the joining link on the other thing? Copy. I'll leave teacher with you. I'll be right back. Once that says you can join the class, go ahead and join the class, okay? See? All right. My son's taking a free robotics class online. I don't know how they're going to do a robotics class. Hopefully they're going to teach him how to do the coding so that so we can build the app, right? Yeah. I don't know about, I'd like to make it available for kids as well as for adults, right? And mindfulness app for kids as well. But once we start to get into the creation piece of it, I'm probably going to do several polls, like asking you guys kinds of things like what kind of artwork you like better, what kind of themes you like better, right? I want to make it customizable, but not to such a degree that it becomes so overwhelming and confusing. If you guys have ever played like Roblox or Minecraft and stuff, I don't really play them. I just see my son going through them, and he spends so fucking long like customizing his avatar. And I want to leave that piece available, but I don't want to make it the whole, like, the focus here. I don't know, but then maybe there's a piece that you customize the fuck out of it in the beginning, and then as you evolve, it becomes uncustomized. I don't know. Anyway, so what do I need, right? What do I need for it? People with the brains who want to brainstorm. People with the skills who want to start writing code. People who are genuinely interested and excited about the project who want to work on it. It's not a one-person thing, and I do hope to get funding for it. I'm going to talk to my dad, who's a patent law lawyer, about creating a patent of some kind, but I know that to create that patent, I have to have a pretty detailed explanation of the thing. So we got to create the explanation of the thing before we can start talking about it and putting it on like a crowdfunding sort of thing. Yeah, so if anybody wants to be part of that journey, come join us in the Discord. Feels kind of odd to have a mindfulness app with too much focus on aesthetics. Yes, but also there's the piece of like how ego is part of the process. Ego is part of our journey. And at some point we do start with ego. We do start by constructing the self. And so in that way, I do kind of want the app to mirror the process of becoming the self. And we become the self by learning these things, right? And so, touche. But maybe there's a piece in the beginning, right, where we explore these pieces and we put in some of our previous experiences, or we select sort of like childhood trauma things. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I want it to be really dynamic. I want it to be this whole reality that you can go into, and I want it to be a mirror of your inner cosmos. I want it to be a mirror to help you see more and more clearly the expansive reality that's available within you. What? You can ask the teacher. You have a live teacher with you. So you'll be able to ask her, hey, can I have a second? If you need it. But don't want to leave her sitting there too long, or him or her too long, okay? Can you join the class yet?
It says you will be installed in the
Okay. Okay. It'll have the button right there that says join now or something like that. So many of us spend a lot of our time playing these little busy games, right, on our phone. These busy things. But what are we really gaining from it? Yes, there's the dopamine hit when we press a button and it does a thing. So why not press buttons to do things that are also beneficial in other ways? I wonder if the hesitation for the chakra journal and the other journals and things like that that I want to create is just that I have to put them in here. All right, my friends, I love the idea of mirroring the inner universe journey. Also sounds huge. Yeah, that's the thing is like I don't know the capacity for really creating something like this because I'm not a developer, so I don't know how in depth or intense it would be, but I also really want to create the libraries that go within it and even the evaluation stuff from like Ayurveda and stuff, so you can go in here and you can learn your dosha when you go in and use this app. Okay. Yes, dear. Did you have to go? That's right here. Okay. It'll probably take several iterations, I imagine, and I'm thinking maybe it has to access like internet resources or something, or something where the information is actually kept elsewhere, not in the app itself. Um, but I'm also like, I'm always wanting to do projects like this. Like I've wanted to create a library of mudras. Um, by the way, I'm starting to create playlists on this account too. So if you're looking for pranayama or mudras and things like that, those things are starting to be available. Um, in playlists on my account. That said, if you guys want, I am going to go ahead and wrap up here so I can help him with his class and have some early breakfast. Or early lunch, I mean. If you want to work directly with me, remember that there are all links in my link tree. You can always reach out if you want a link or if you have any questions. Or remember also, if you want a membership or if you want to work directly with me, but the $ keeps you out of the session, then I encourage you to reach out because I am huge on trade, especially if you want to help me develop this app. Okay. He can't hear you, honey. Is your microphone on? Okay. All right. Did he say he's going to leave the meeting and join? Okay. All right, guys. I love you. I got to go help my kiddo with this. I will see you in the Discord. Remember, the replay for today's class is on YouTube at Move the Change. I am Move the Change on all the platforms. Please go follow me wherever you hang out, wherever you want to see me live. I will start going live in the places I have the most followers. Right now, that's TikTok, YouTube, and Clapper, but I can't figure out how to do Clapper and YouTube TikTok at the same time because they both require a device like this. Also, because we've reached 10,000 now on TikTok, the more you guys share the content, the more that it will pay for itself. And this was the goal here, right? In creating and getting 10,000 followers was so that the content can pay for itself, so that the free classes that I offer can pay for themselves. So if you guys will do me a favor and share, if you want to support me, obviously, in continuing to do this work through donation, there is a tip jar on my link tree. The hashtag Cash App tag is in my bio. You can also grab a membership so that you can support me monthly as well. And depending on the level of membership, there's perks that come with it. So if you have any questions, reach out. You can check all that stuff out on Linktree. Link is in my bio. And I love you guys. Have a great Friday. Remember that tonight, if you are in the Discord, we are having a watch party. We're going to stream something else from CAYA this week. So if you're not in the Discord, come join us in the Discord. I have a membership to CAYA, and there's a bunch of really cool content that they have. They have hours and days and years of content in there. That's really cool stuff. So come in and join us. That is going to start at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm gonna do the showing several times. So we'll do like 2 or 3 different back to back, depending on who's there and how many people want to watch. Unfortunately, I can't record and replay because it also is through a membership thing, and I can get in trouble for that. So we just watch it in there for a couple of times, and then I also add reflection questions so that we can continue the conversation afterwards. Anyway, lots of fun stuff available in Discord. I will see you in there. I love you so much. See you later, YouTube.